president tweeted out this morning, for all the people who are out of work because of the important and necessary containment policies, for instance, the shutting down of hotels, bars, and restaurants, money will soon be coming to you. The onslaught of the Chinese virus is not your fault, will be stronger than ever. And of course, that infuriates the PC crowd who feel you can't call it or shouldn't call it the Chinese virus. It is a Chinese virus. It is the Chinese virus. It's the Wuhan virus. It is a virus that originated in China, and we should never forget that. No, it's silly to pretend it didn't. Why, you look at all the lists of viruses, pandemics, epidemics, from West Nile to, all the different, my goodness, it's a silly argument. But it's him making a point, and incidentally, he's getting praised from a lot of unlikely characters right now. He's getting lots of, it almost makes me nervous. Even some leftist publications are saying he's acting like a strong leader. Well, here's, what's the cut number, guys? Here's cut 13, Dana Bash. Now, she's one of the never Trump, always hate Trump, anti-Trump CNN. And she's been right there with all the rest of them with the pitchforks and the torches. Listen to her characterization last night of President Trump's latest reactions and directives and handling of the coronavirus crisis. This is from CNN and Gravian.
But if you look at the big picture, this was remarkable from the President of the United States. This is a nonpartisan. This is an important thing to note and to applaud from an American standpoint, from a human standpoint. He is being the kind of leader that people need, at least in tone today and yesterday, in tone that people need and want and yearn for in times of crisis and uncertainty. But if you look at the big picture, this was remarkable.
You that Dana Bash is no longer employed at CNN. This was her last day. They gave her papers. They said, we're sorry. Security escorted her out of the... and really, people did flip out. People on social media were taking her to task. You're not supposed to say anything positive about this guy if you work at CNN. Not allowed to. Portions of our show brought to you by AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. We're going to check in with Andy Mangione like we do every Wednesday. We're going to find out AMAC's response to the coronavirus crisis in America. Find out more, by the way, go to GallagherforAMAC.com, GallagherforAMAC.com, or call 855-624-6229, GallagherforAMAC.com. Okay, the president says money is coming. People are going to get checks in the mail. The check is in the mail. What do you make of that? Are you on board with a maybe $1 trillion+ economic stimulus? Bobby on the Mike Gallagher Show, 22 before the hour in the ReliefFactor.com studios. How you doing, Bobby? You hanging in there?
Doing okay. How about yourself?
Hanging, doing the best you can.
Yeah, I hear you, man. So, I think the stimulus is a great idea. It needs to happen, in my opinion. Not only financially helps people, but it also kind of boosts morale when they have an extra, when they have a president that's willing to say, okay, guys, I know this sucks for everybody, but here you go. This is, the best we can do right now. What I kind of worry about is the bar owners. These guys are out of their, I'm in Florida, and, Ron DeSantis, which, I love him as a governor, and, I understand he's just doing what he thinks is best for us, but closing these bars down and whatnot for 30 days. This right now is the absolute busiest time of the year for us. Spring break, March, April.
And Bobby, you've seen what's been happening. All the video images of all the kids, the thousands of kids that are along the beaches at Clearwater Beach, St. Pete, all of the beaches.
I live about 10 minutes from there. Where I work, I can see Clearwater Beach, and I know exactly what.
And you've heard the condemnation. Those idiot kids, what are they doing? How stupid? Why don't young people take this seriously? You're hearing all that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in the hospitality industry. I'm a chef at a hotel. So
what do you say to somebody who said, what do you say? What do you say to people who are saying that these kids are being irresponsible, that Florida, the Governor DeSantis ought to close the beaches? What do you say to them?
I understand their worry and I understand their concern. However, I get it. The virus is a serious thing. It's spreadable. I get it, but this is detrimental to our local economy and our community, and I'm so 50-50. I get it that it's very dangerous and all that, but as somebody that works in the hospitality industry, I write people's schedules, and I'm taking them off. I'm calling them and saying, hey, you have to start using some of your paid time off because I have no hours for you.
People are going to be laid off. People are going to be fired. There's going to be, you say it's detrimental to the local economy. That's the understatement of the century. Of course it's detrimental. People are going to lose jobs. And that's what the president is trying to get ahead of right now. If this thing goes on for weeks or months, you're right. This is spring break in Florida. People are seeing thousands of people on the beaches. Although I will tell you, I just talked to a friend of mine, a neighbor who owns a restaurant in the neighborhood where I live. And he said, we've lost tons of business already. The exodus has already happened. Incidentally, in Florida, Governor DeSantis, here's the rule for restaurants. In many communities, the restaurants are closed completely. I think Joey Hudson was telling me yesterday, I believe, that in the upstate of South Carolina, all restaurants, bars closed across the board. Here in Florida, restaurants are allowed to remain open in seating areas. However, they have to be at 50% capacity max. And I think they're being advised that patrons are supposed to sit 6 feet apart from each other. Now, again, you got some pragmatic things. You got some practical problems with that. If you don't have a large seating area, how do you space patrons 6 feet apart? But here's what, like, for example, Cut 9 from Fox News yesterday. Here's Greg Gutfeld from the 5 ripping those kids, Bobby, that you're talking about, the thousands of beachgoers who don't seem to be heeding the advice to stay away from congregating in large crowds.
I don't think we should be surprised that young people engage in high-risk activity. At that age, young people already don't understand the effects of dumb behavior on their mortality. They have the highest death rates in car accidents, and they do really stupid things. Now you want them to see how their behavior affects others, like Gramps and Granny. And if they can't understand that, then they're not worth talking to. But that's the problem, because now it's no longer about them. We almost need to lie to them. You have to tell them that it's a sexually transmitted disease, because then they won't go to spring break. If you said this is worse than herpes, then they might go home. But I do think that there needs to be consequences in order for them to understand the importance of this.
This is one of those philosophical crossroads where we do have a conflict between what people want to believe and what we're being told. Now, today, an important interview with Dr. Anthony Fauci on this show. I hope you have a chance to listen to it. After we conduct the interview, we'll post it at mikeonline.com and on our YouTube channel. But we are being told that symptomatic or asymptomatic doesn't matter. If I hear one more person tell me, well, I'm feeling fine. Doctor says I'm feeling fine. I don't have any symptoms. We're being told that the vast majority of people who are positive for coronavirus have zero symptoms. And so if we don't want to start seeing thousands and thousands of people get critically ill, many people die, I'm understanding the logic of staying away from one another until we get ahead of the curve, until we flatten the curve, as they say. But you got people that are saying, come on, I feel all right. What's the deal? I'm going to go around. I'm going to do my job. Incidentally, Lance, I know, has been following up with Marianne. I'll give you an update on his conversation with her. Yesterday, a caller saying, hey, I think I'm positive. I've had symptoms. I've been exposed to people who have tested positive, but I got to do my job and I have to come in contact, not physical contact, but I got to do my job where I interact with other people. That was Marianne from San Antonio yesterday. And ultimately, again, a lot of people angry, a lot of people frustrated, worried. Incidentally, Kevin Durant, one of the biggest NBA stars in the world, testing positive for COVID-19. The Bay Area of San Francisco ordering shelter in place. You're only allowed to leave your home for essentials. It is a possibility that could happen in New York City. I don't know how they pull that off in New York. But then again, one would say, how do they pull it off in the Bay Area of California? 16 minutes before the hour.